Hello and welcome back. We're out here again working on the 64 Dune Buggy. And we're looking at an Odyssey though, taking parts from it. So here we go. We're working on the strut mounts. So these towers that are here, we're going to recreate them in the back end of the Dune Bug. So we're trying to make a template of the mount itself. And then once we have those templates made, we'll bring them over here and lay this rod between them and weld them together while they're in place, bolted here, so that we keep the same alignment and the same separation. We can then take this part with those plates and hook it straight up onto the top of the strut towers over there, and they'll be aligned side to side from each other. We just have to figure out where they seat in the rear end of the Dune Bug and tie it. This is basically part of our just template building. Might end up becoming part of the permanent thing, but right now it's simply to give us the correct spacing and alignment. So here's what we've got so far. Cut out a piece of cardboard and laid it in, drawn in the circle and bolt holes. Now we're going to line these pieces up and cut two of them out, get them drilled, bolt them up, and then be ready to weld them together. So get to see where we're going from here. And here you have it, our first plate. This is the first mount top, and then I used it to scribe the next one in so we can get it cut out tomorrow. What we've got here is the same thing as right here, just using these bolts as placeholders. Doing this all one-handed is kind of silly. And there you go. There's our plate. As it's going to be set in here, I'm going to bolt it down and tighten it up. Do the same over on the other side. Lay the bar between them when they're bolted in place. Give it a quick tag weld to hold it so that they don't move anywhere. I am all over the place. I'm showing you the windshield and the back of the hood instead of where I'm talking about. Oh, someday I'll get this camera operation and videoing down, but I doubt it. So here we go. Yeah, so basically, gonna bolt this down, weld that plate across there, give us a position where our two struts are supposed to mount in, and at about the general angle. And figure out about how they're positioned just a little behind that motor. Let's take this over here now and show you how that's gonna fit onto the strut. Okay, so woo, flying over here. And there it goes. Sits right on the strut. Now the really spiffy thing here is this one fits here, and you flip it completely over. Why, look at that. It drops right onto this one too. So you put one on this way and then flip it, as I said, and it sits right on there. So we're going to weld one on there and one on there, and then line these back up to where they belong, which is about right here, into where the motor sits, and then this whole thing kind of kilts in and sits down. Yeah, sure. That's exactly how it goes. Maybe it's more like right there. I think it's more like right there. Anyhow, we'll figure all that out later. Not to be worried about at the moment. Well, anyway, I'll come back and make another video when I've got the next plate cut out and maybe when we're welding that together. See y'all then. So we're back for round 2 in strut tower plate manufacturing. Got everything set up here. Everything's been scribed in off the first piece, so we're ready to replicate it as closely as we can anyhow. This time around actually clamp the vacuum in, so hopefully we can collect a bit of those metal shavings while we're doing it. A little forethought this time. Anyway, let's get started cutting and drilling and making a mess. Okay, so plate's done. Here's where they go. Obviously under the nut, but there's the idea. This plate mounts onto this one, and we'll have that bar running between it over here on this one. And there's how they sit on. Once we got them all lined up, we'll be able to bolt these together, and it'll give us exactly the spacing and alignment for this strut to that strut. And then we just have to shift the struts backwards into their relative position to the motor and vertical alignment. We won't have to fight with where they go between each other anymore. So we're gonna get these put back over here. Let's take this one with us here. We'll go over to the van, the Hulk, what's left of it. And we'll be setting these through. There's some bolts to pin them in position, generally speaking. And then we will be welding a bar across the space from one plate to the other plate. And that will give us our initial setup on the struts for their towers. And we'll work from there towards building the permanent setup. But this is our initial set. So I'll bring you back along once I've got the welder and stuff ready to go and everything bolted down nice and tight and aligned to where I want it to be. And bring you back when that's all settled. Alright, now we got the welder set up out here. And we've gone ahead and put a couple of bolts real quick through the plate here on the driver's side. And we've cut down our sonar bar so that it lines up on both of them in roughly the same place. This one in its spot. So now we're going to weld the bar to the plate while it sits lined up on the strut towers inside the van. And that'll set both the angle of that top plate and the separation between the two strut tops. It's basically a strut tower brace like you see on many racing cars. They sell a one that's already built, I saw online, for the Odyssey of this year, but it's made out of aluminum and it's $165, and basically no thank you. I'm not paying $165 for this thing. I have one that's probably not as strong as what I'm making. Anyway, I'm gonna put you over on the high speed next and we'll watch this all go together. Alright, so there you have it. Just got a quick little MIG zapping, tying her together. And now we have our strut brace and alignment tool. It's got that. It's a strut alignment tool. There you go. Let's see how she fits now. I have to crank them around and put them in spot. All right, we'll see how that goes next. All right, we got both sides primed. Everything's laid out here. Getting ready to throw on a little bit of blue. It matches the blue we've already used. So I'm gonna set this up and spray this next. Okay, she's blue. So we're gonna give this side a chance to dry out here. Throw the big fan and keep air moving past it. Hopefully help it dry out a little faster. Maybe I'll crank back the sunshade and give it a little sun too. Probably not. Just leave it where it's at. Anyway, I'll bring it back next and show you it once it's attached to the struts and sitting over the motor. And here we have the strut bar, completed, painted. Here's how we built it to align to exactly where the strut's mounted in the van. So that when we take it out of here and mount it onto the top of the two struts sitting outside, they should be in perfect alignment as they were in the van. So we'll go and take a look at that next. And here you have it. This is the strut alignment tool, so that when we're installing this whole unit, those struts are exactly the same spacing apart and set at the exact same top mounted angle as they were in the van. This lines everything up all spiffy for us, and we can just slide everything right up inside and hook it up. So, been quite a bit today. Trying to push this thing forward, and I want to be sitting in that driver's seat instead of that radiator. I want to have this thing pushing me down the road. Gonna be crazy. I'm thinking it's gonna be real damn fast. I was looking up the specs on this, and initially I thought this Honda Odyssey motor was rated at 220 horsepower. Come to read, it's 244 horsepower. Now I know it's got some miles on it, but I'm still likely to be way above 200 horsepower in this thing, which, given the 64 or so horsepower that the old VW motor had, I'm gonna have a whole lot more oomph. I'm a little bit wondering whether or not this is just gonna be wheelie buggy. And this thing's just gonna lift that nose right up in the air if you dump it and go. We shall see. Should be fun to play with and try. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you're having fun watching these videos, and I hope you continue to join us and watch the rest of them as this project moves forward and hopefully someday in the future comes to completion. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.